Hello people, I'm really nervous right now because this is my first time doing an interview. Today I'm doing an interview with...
Hi Leo.
Her name is Iris. Iris, do a quick introduction about yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Iris. Actually, me and Leo, we were college classmates. I've graduated and then right now I'm a travel writer. Yes.
So what things do you write?
I really love to travel solo. Sometimes people think that I like to travel to weird places. Basically, it's the story along the way, like where I've been and then people I have met, and then like how I feel during the trip, and then I like to just record all that. I don't really write to tell people where to go, what to eat, but I write about my very personal stories.
Okay, so I will put all the links down below. So before seeing whole this video, make sure you check it out on the links, okay? The reason why we're talking in English today with Iris, because I believe most of the audience of you, they are like Taiwanese. They never actually see you speaking English. So they will be like so surprised, oh my god, Iris really speaking English.
Usually when I write in Chinese, and then when I talk, I usually talk in Chinese as well. So I guess it would be something new if we can do a video in English, which is something I've never done before. Which
I forced her to speak English. We barely knew each other in college, right?
Right. It's funny because we never talked.
We never talked in college. We were so separate.
How I started to actually know Leo was, I think when we graduated then, I think it was sometime like right before the graduation or something. One time I went to Starbucks near our school, and then I bumped into Leo and Ray. They were like studying or something. So that was the first time that I really sit down and then talk and I had a conversation with Leo, like and
the conversation was more than like 2 or 3 hours. We didn't know about each other and we just began a like really profound conversation.
It was like a
out of nowhere. And that's when I started to know about Iris. And actually before that, my impression of Iris.
Okay, now he's gonna talk about his impression of it.
Do you want me to be like honest or real honest? Like really honest?
What's the difference? Just be honest. Okay. So me in college, right?
Yeah, Iris doesn't attend class. She does go to class, but not every class. That's real, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like I slept a lot when I was in college. Like usually by the time that I'm awake, I passed 1 or 2 classes already.
Like even if she does go to class, like she will be doing her own stuff, her job, I guess.
Well, if I think that I'm not gonna get anything out of this class, like if I think I already know what the teacher's teaching, or I think I already, I value what I should do.
Yeah, but like Iris pass all like her class.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do. I always pass all my classes.
Yeah, she's taking care of her responsibility. Because like she was the one who never attend like economic class, and I was the economic teacher assistant.
I go sometimes.
That's why we are so separated. That's the second thing. Iris is really good presenter because we have a lot of presentation classes.
And in our college we had to do a lot of presentation for almost every class, right?
I feel like Iris can always like convey like her idea really well, and like her speech is always really like contentful. Like you can.
Wow, thank you. Well, I really enjoy doing presentations in school, basically. It's just the most fun way for me to do a project.
2 months ago or something, I went to a speech.
Oh yeah, because April I had a collab with Ke, and then so we did 3 speeches throughout Taiwan: Taipei, Taichung, and Tainan, and then he came to the Taipei one. I'm
not exaggerating. All speeches were packed. So after the speech, I got like people are lining up to like having a like picture with Iris. I lined up like 30 minutes just to take a picture with you.
What do you mean?
So I was like, I should have like take a more like picture with you when you were back in college. So I didn't have to wait for 30 minutes. So I can really tell like Iris is doing something really influential on the social media, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope I'm making a good impact,
And if you take a deeper look of Iris' article, especially for me, it's really poetic, I would say.
Poetic?
Because for me, I couldn't write things like that. I really like one which like you are writing about like Turkey or Turkey trip.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you check on that one.
2016. That was like a very unstable year for Turkey because they had a lot of terrorist attack, and then they also had like riots. But that was the year that I decided to go to Turkey alone. So that trip was pretty special because I went alone and then I didn't have much money, so I decided that I would do couch surfing. I don't know if y'all know what couch surfing is, but basically it's a platform where you get to stay in strangers' house for free. So yeah, like that trip I met a lot of people, and then I started to see how like the world is kind of different from what I thought it would be, you know? Like, because when you see it on media, it's all bombing, it's so like crazy and it's like scary, and
people wonder like how could you have the courage to like travel alone to Turkey even though it's like a lot of things happening.
Well, I'm a kind of person when I really want to do something,
You will do.
Like even though everybody's like trying to come up against me, I'll just convince myself that I'll do it because I didn't think it would be that bad. I didn't think that I would just go to Turkey and then somehow I would just die in a terrorist attack, you know? If I do, bad luck, I guess. Like, I'm willing to
Yeah, just wonder, is your mom cool with that? Did you guys have an argument about this? And she was
I don't think my mom paid a lot of attention to international news. So,
she's right there. She's right there, guys. She's right there. You travel a lot, right? You travel a lot. So usually you will have chance to talk with strangers. But how do you talk with strangers? Like, how do you start a conversation with strangers? Because like, if I travel, I really want to talk with the local people, you know. People love to interact with local people, and it's really hard to start with the conversation. Like,
okay, that's a question that I get asked a lot because if you've ever seen my content, you realize that I'm the kind of person who loves to interact with strangers when I'm traveling alone. When you talk to a person, it's like it opens a door for you to see different things. So I enjoy talking with strangers.
But how?
But how, right?
Yeah, teach people how.
Well, if you don't know where to start, I'll say hostel is a perfect place to start because everybody who comes to the hostel, they are usually travelers, you know, world travelers. You can meet a lot of different people who are trying to put themselves out there to see the world as well.
They're more like open-minded and
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So how about like talking people on the street?
On the street?
But you have a lot of chance to talk with people on the street, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like gradually I started to meet a lot of people just on the street and then we'll travel together. For example, this time I was in Nepal and then I was sitting in a cafe alone and then I was like writing on my journal and then across me on the other side of the table there was this guy. He was reading. You just both recognize you were like opposite side of each other and then doing your own thing. And then at one point, their electricity went out because in Nepal, sometimes
which happens a lot.
Yeah, electricity went out and then they come back again. And then that's when we started to talk, you know? Because we were just like both there doing nothing. So I guess at one point, we're just gonna chat, you know? I think he asked me first where I was from. That's a question that usually get you started, like asking people where they're from. If to put this in more specific step, I would say if you ever want to talk to a stranger, start with questions. Like, don't think about how to introduce yourself first, don't think about what to say first. Think about what you're curious about the person that's right in front of you. Like, think about what do you want to ask them.
So imagine yourself like going to a cafe and there was a really like good-looking guy like sitting beside
Doesn't
you.
have to be good looking, but okay.
Imagine there's a guy sitting beside you and it was like, okay, this guy is cool. I'm going to talk with, I really want to talk with him. I really want to know him. How do you, okay, for example, I'm playing with my cell phone and stuff.
You know, play with yourself. Can't do something else, like read a book or something.
Okay, I will read this book. 奇怪呢台湾. So how do you usually start your conversation when this situation
I feel
happens?
kind of awkward right now, but I'm just gonna suck it up. I don't know how This is so unnatural. I don't know how to do it. If I want to talk to you, I'll probably ask you where you're from, and then
I'm from Taiwan.
Oh, Taiwan. What's that book you're reading?
Strange Things About Taiwan.
That's a cool book. I've never been to Taiwan. How's there?
Good.
That's the kind of person that I don't want to talk to.
To make sure like the conversation goes smoothly, or like both sides have to talk. So is there like really awkward situation like you want to stop the conversation and
Usually it's fine. You don't always talk to continue talking. Sometimes you just talk to say hi, you know. But I'll say every time when you talk with a stranger, start with a question like, where are you from? What do you do? Or what like you have a nice hair, whatever. Like when you try to talk to people, you first observe them, right? Usually you can kind of tell whether a person wants to have a conversation or not. Like I wouldn't just go on bother a person who's like on their laptop and then working.
That's
you
true.
know?
That's kind of
Like you gotta choose the person that you want to talk to. Start with questions, and within the question, find what can you, like
relate.
what can you relate? Like oh, I've been to Taiwan too. Oh, I've never been there. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Like just show your curiosity. Show that you're curious.
Like last time when we were discussing like what topic we should do, we talk about the pronunciation, guys. Like do you think like when I speak English just a like Taiwanese accent? Basically have my education in Taiwan. I pronounce what I learned in textbook.
Right, because a lot of people ask me how I study my English. Well, first of all, I went to the States when I was 16. That was the first time that I ever went abroad. Before that, I was just a normal Taiwanese student who couldn't even speak a word of English. But then, when I was 16, I went to America for a year. And then I remember the first 3 months, I could not speak at all. Like, I was so... I was frustrating, and then I thought I was like a person who just been dropped on Mars from Earth, you know. But then gradually I realized you have to be willing to talk and be comfortable with making mistakes. Like you have to make a lot of mistakes. Like I remember there was a word that I had to say every day, but it was a very long word. It's cafeteria. Cafeteria is where you go eat for lunchtime. So every lunchtime I need to go there. You know, you have to go to different class every day, and then so you don't always stay in one classroom. So I would always get lost. Like I would be in the school and I don't know where to go for lunch. So I need to ask people, how do I go to cafeteria? And then I could not pronounce the word. But I think it was then I slowly cafeteria. Slowly I get to actually say the word. Anyways. So my point is, you have to be willing to make mistakes. Second, you have to adjust the mistake that you have made. So for example, when I was in the States, there were 3 words that completely changed the way I pronounce my English. They are very easy words. The first word is apple. Back in the days when I say apple, I say apple. You know, in Taiwan we say apple. But when I went to stay, I realized you have to pronounce apple. Like the A sound is so important because if you do that, people just look at you like, what did you just say? You know? And then the second word that changed me was Starbucks. Starbucks.
Which I couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah, earlier he said it and I look at him
Starbucks.
Because in Taiwan we say Starbucks, but it's not box. Box is a盒子. You have to say Starbucks. B-U-S-K.
Bucks.
No, that's O. And you have to say
Bucks.
U is the sound. So
Starbucks.
Bucks.
Starbucks.
Bucks. There's no A sound. There's only A sound. So Starbucks. Better. Yeah. So
the tip is to speak it faster. Starbucks.
I don't know, man. And then the last one. Okay, my name is Iris, and then my last name is Huang. H-U-A-N-G.
Yeah.
Every time I try to tell people my last name, I'll have to spell it right. H-U-A-N-g. But I found a problem where they never understood what I was saying because I usually say H-U. H-A-N-G. They look at me like,
what?
Do we have this word in English? So I realized you have to say H.
H.
Like H. So, you know, like it's those very little things that you say daily almost.
So how do you like discover these things? When you make mistakes, right?
Because people correct you. You know, like when you say something like they actually don't understand. So that was when I started to realize how small details, like small things, can make a big change. Yeah.
So to wrap up, like how do you improve your pronunciation?
First, you have to be willing to speak up, and then second, you have to be willing to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Like don't be afraid. And third, you have to adjust the mistakes that you have made. Like you need to recognize the mistakes you have made and then make adjustment to it. And then fourth, I guess it's like try to see different people speaking, like try to listen to people and then try to imitate.
So thank you so much, Iris, for the whole thing today, and thank you so much for your time.
I'm currently writing on a book, which hopefully will be published in probably August, September, but it's not all set yet, so I don't want to spoil too much. So maybe when my book come out, I can come to your YouTube channel again and do a promotion.
Okay, this is a promise. Okay, this is a promise.
I haven't done this in a very long time.
Only a mentor can do that. So thank you so much, Iris,
Thank
for
you,
today.
Leo.
And I hope you guys like it. And see you guys next time. Okay, bye bye.